Alright guys, so before we go to the whole review and test of that knife, I have something to mention, is that I've been playing around a little bit more with that knife, and actually I have some updates on at the end of that video about how great this tool can be with a simple addition to the kit. So don't forget to look at the end of that video, because you will have most of the most important information right there. So check that. Hi guys, well, today I'm gonna make a review of a kind of knife, tool, blade, something like that, and it's actually something I have been testing for several weeks now. I have already made a first video that I have not edited and posted because well, it was crap, and I'm reshooting this one because I was also testing with some new camera gear, especially using my cell phone as a monitor to see me. But thing is, it did not turn out really well. It lost signal and everything. So enough talked about that. I'm gonna talk to you today, tell you about the Fremont Fremont Knives company, and the tool is called the Farson Blade, and it's called that way because it was found, I believe, in Farson. It was inspired from a tool that has been found in Farson, which was a kind of piece of flint of this design, very functional design, used for preparing meat for hunter-gatherers type of chores. And well, I've been testing this one. I must say it's a very nice quality stainless steel. You have to be extra careful with this one because most of the tool is made of the blade itself actually, so this means you have to be careful not to put your thumb on the upper part, and well, there are several ways you can use that knife. I'm going to show you some of these, but first the general cutting. I've tested that yesterday in my kitchen, and this is the result, so it works really well.
In my mind, I'm getting away another place, move and remove strings of my life. Sometimes I need to break the rules, because I'm not a fool. Spoken music in my heart, move and remove strings of my life. Distance, Wi-Fi, too much time, I don't see the sign. Just down by my side, help me to move the strings of life. Distance, Wi-Fi, never touch the course of fly. Turn around, walk away, and fire strings of life.
Okay, so this design is very functional. You can use it in a variety of ways. If you are careful enough with your fingers, you can use it for smaller chores. Be careful not to cut the inside of your palm with it, but I love that way of using it. You can of course use this part for some chores. It's more practical to use it that way. For others it's better to use that way to cut meat or stuff like that. This rounded belly here is perfect. The knife itself is it's small and packable, and I will not be able to review it exactly the same way I do for most of my other knives, for one specific reason. It doesn't have the same shape, and for example for chopping, this one can be turned into a basically into a chopper when you attach it to a pole. First I was really worried about, you know, having to remove the paracord and then having to tighten it back again, because you work a lot near the blade. It's not a problem if you are careful, but it's yeah, at least you have some paracord with you and a good knife. The shape is also great because you can actually have it in hand while having to do some other task. You can, you know, if you are working some wood, I'm not gonna cut that one too much, but you can use it in several ways, like this, to make some feather sticks. You can also use it pretty comfy, in a pretty comfy way, like so. You can scrape, of course, use it as a scraper. You can I will find you a piece, a suitable piece, but you can actually batten that little baby. If you remove the paracord, you can use it and batten it that way to batten bigger pieces of wood. But the first time I've tested it was on a smaller piece, using it that way and driving it into the wood, so it worked really well. Yeah, it's a very special design, but it's really inspired by something that worked in the past. So I'm really enjoying using that baby. I'm just always a bit worried about the way I'm gonna get injured because yeah, you have to be careful, and I know sometimes I'm not careful enough, so this is all my fault. But anyway, so I'm gonna find some piece to batten through, and perhaps also find something to make some feather sticks and see how it works. Okay, I do not often have the chance to batten in an upright position, so I'm gonna take advantage of that and batten that piece of wood right here. I'm not yet 100% used to that tool, but I'm really digging it because you can do so much with it. I mean, it takes some time to get used to, and obviously you will be forced to use it in a way you are usually not used to, as I've said. But it's really interesting to, you know, I think it's a great tool to play with, and I'm meaning here serious playing, like find ways around problems that you can have, and I love that. And just for the fact, it's yeah, you use it as a wedge pretty much in here, and yeah. Okay, so let's make some feather sticks. I like to use it that way for recontrol feathers. yeah, the blade pushed against the, yeah, the great thing is, and here you perhaps can't see it, but if I just turn the knife, you can actually change the angle where they are going. I'm not doing a very great job here, but yeah, it's shaving sharp, so it just so, as I've said, because you have once that angle, or this angle, or that angle, you can have your curls to go on the left and the right, or straight in the middle, allowing you to have way more curls on the same spot. So here I see some curls that are really well done. As I'm rushing a bit to make the video, I'm not making a really good job, so excuse me. Yeah, well, you can definitely do some feather sticks with that. It works well to make some feathers. So in a survival situation, you would be able to start a fire if you need to by making feather sticks. Okay, so now I have to test something else. Is the fire still striking abilities. So with some kind of modification, you could just, you know, make a square piece somewhere, because it doesn't strike the fire steel that well out of the box. But yeah, with a little modification, you could have that working really easily. And of course you could use the blade to do that. I don't like to do it. It works on almost every kind of blade, but I would recommend people to do that. Just, you know, go with the Dremel and just make a flat spot here, so that you can actually strike in a pretty easy way by pushing down, like so. It works. It almost works, but this is something that could be just done. It's so easy to do, but you need a modification right out of the box. I can show you. It works well. I don't like to do that on the blade, so I'm only doing it once, but in a survival situation you will be definitely able to light a fire if needs be. Plus, if you have the skills, the skill set with you, you actually have some paracord, so you will be able to create a nice bow and drill. Okay, so now, as I've said, I'm just gonna remove the paracord. I have to find a better way to attach that paracord, because having that long piece of paracord floating around means that you may cut it while using the knife, or it might also, you know, the knots might be well too tight to remove it and use it. And yeah, you know, when you have cold fingers. And this is basically why I've put mittens today, because I really wanted to be able to lace and unlace without having to remove each time my knife, especially because it's getting a bit cold in here. So I'm not gonna remove all the way up, because I've remarked that you do not really need to do so. You can attach it by removing and lacing only the 2/3 of it, about 2/3 of it, and can still have enough paracord to attach it. And see here, I don't have any other pieces of yeah, I have a lot, but I don't have one at hand. But what I can show you is that if you remove all the paracord, you have basically only a kind of D-ring that you can hammer through your wood with, and for security you can just, you know, put the finger here and batten that. I'm just gonna, yep, like so, and you can, you know, drive it through most pieces of wood, meaning that you have a chopper that allows you to approximately cut a bit less than fist size, but something, well, probably you can go through fist size pieces of wood. So it's already a good thing for a knife that is so small. So now I'm gonna find some handle and prepare it and attach the Farson blade to it. Okay, so I haven't tightened it way enough. Usually I should do way better, but as you see, you can already do something pretty good. Okay, in my opinion, the best way to attach it is like so, from the top up, and I think I was lucky when I first tried it. Thing is, you have to tie it really enough so that it does not get loose on you. Well, I'm gonna test that on some piece of branch and see how this performs. Okay, now I think I have most of it. First, steel striking, chopping, splitting. Yeah, so now it's the part that I actually have to admit I do not like that part too much, because if you are in a survival situation and get hurt because you rushed that, yeah, it would be stupid. So basically, now is the time when you have to redo that lacing stuff. And this takes a bit of time, so I'm not gonna redo it all, but this is actually the way that I consider is the best. Excuse me, I'm struggling to talk and make the knot at the same time. I think this is the way that is the safest to redo the handle stitch, not stitch, but knots, not work. In my opinion, actually, but now I think I still have to talk about, well, resharpening. Actually, I don't have any experience resharpening this one. I haven't had the need. it's sharp. I've been processing some wood. It has probably lost a bit of its hair popping sharpness. The main question I'm wondering right now, and I will probably make a separate video about resharpening that one as soon as I have time to train a bit on it, because it's probably fairly important to mention that it will not be resharpened the same way than most things. But I'm thinking about stuff, you know, like you have a knife that has 2 holes, allowing you to perhaps make wooden handles that are hollowed out, which you can use as a bigger handle and have some stuff hidden in it, for example. I'm also thinking about splitting or making a longer handle, or splitting your walking stick on the top, and you know, add 2 matching screws so that you can turn your baton quickly into an axe. Or basically you could just bring with you some screws, bolts that are the right size, or pieces of metal, and just, you know, split the wood, lash it under the split so that it doesn't split any further, and then attach the blade right to the stick in between the splits. So it's a very, very nice tool, considering it's small size, it's thin. You can conceal it really easily in your pack, having a backup knife, or having a knife that you keep for specific chores. If you don't want to go with an axe but still want to be able to build an axe quickly on location, this one you might want to consider. I'm gonna have to be a bit quicker now, because I see the sunlight going, and well, one thing I consider that could have been improved, or could be improved in the future, is actually the sheath. The sheath is a very nice sheath, don't get me wrong, but considering the type of knife, I would really like to see, I would probably add a simple locking, excuse me, I'm talking about something else. I would probably add the cord lock here, so that it's easier to close it. Well, anyways, what I was saying is that the sheath is nice. It's a bit thin in my opinion. You have that plastic protection, and you have of course a belt loop, but I would not, personally, this is a personal preference, but I would be worried that if I fall, for example, and this happens to me all the time in this alpine environment, that the knife goes through the pack. So usually I keep it in my pouch, but in my opinion, the best sheath, or a better sheath that could be done, be it, for example, to lace everything back again, would be a kydex sheath. Well, mostly a blade cover, or leather blade cover. I will probably make one with a welt, which only covers this piece here, and basically allows me to have only to keep it in my pack or in my pouch, or perhaps even add a belt loop somewhere. But you know, having something out of leather, thicker leather, or a thicker sheath. This is probably the only point I think needs some improvement. It weighs close to nothing compared to what you can do with it and the price it's $49. So it's interesting for that. I believe that it's not a knife that is for everyone. Some people really would prefer some knife with a handle that you can really hold into the hand like a more traditional knife style. I love the concept. I love the fact that I can actually use it to make a hatchet. It does great for most tasks I've put it through. I like that you can easily use it as a wedge. I haven't tested it on game, but I have seen a lot of videos of hunters using it on big game to skin it. So I believe it's like an ulu. It's a great skinner, and well, I think it's a knife that deserves to be considered for survival as a survival tool. It needs one modification for the fire steel scraping capacity, but it's something that anyone, and I say with a very stupid accent, anyone could do that modification, so that the knife can be used to scrape the fire steel, which would be a good option. And other than that, I haven't used it to make a trap for that video, but as I've said, it's a knife that can be used in very different ways. I consider myself it more for bigger chores, but there's the deer. It's I must say I'm struggling a bit to use it as a knife for very smaller chores. Here is a way I sometimes use it, which allows me to have some great control over the knife, but because I have it that way, I have to find some alternative ways to use it. So I'm not yet, I haven't found yet the best way to do some whittling with it, but I consider it more for bigger uses than for smaller chores. But it's a very efficient knife. I mean, you can of course cut the paracord pretty easily. Be careful with that, but yeah, it can be really used in a variety of ways, and I think the concept is really great. And knowing that it was used some 1,000 years ago makes it a knife that deserves interest, and especially for various ways to use such a bladed tool. And it's a kind of modern flint flake knife that were just done by breaking one stone and using the flake as a knife. And I this one for processing bigger animals or stuff like that is excellent. Yeah, well, I think it's a knife that deserves to be checked. And as I say, I have tested a lot of various knives. This one is not the shape that I'm the most used to. It takes me a bit of time to really, get the feeling with it. And for whittling, I'm just not feeling today as confident, because yeah, I want to use it that way, but the blade goes really close to my hand. I'm not really comfy using this type of blade for whittling, but I think it's an excellent knife, and it deserves interest only for example for a very good hatchet capacity. Don't do what I've done, meaning don't rush the lashing as I've done for the video. Take your time and you will have an excellent tool for chopping and processing wood. So this was the Fremont Knives Farson Survival Tool, and well guys, thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers. Well guys, so first update is that I have had in between the occasion to resharpen twice the tool. I have used it, as I've said, a lot, and it needed a resharpening. So first time I did an excellent resharpening work and honing work with that Darex Work Sharp guided field sharpener, which is basically one of my favorite knife sharpener, field sharpener that I use mostly. I'm also fan of that because of the archery tools that are here and everything. And the other one I've used a bit later on, and on the newer setup that I'm gonna show you right now, is this one. This is the Grand Force Brock sharpening stone puck that has two sides, and it worked really well. It was really easy to resharpen it to a shaving sharp cutting power. So now I'm gonna show you how I have modified the tool, and just do very quickly some demo, but you will mostly be forced to believe me on that one. But obviously you will see why it won't be hard to understand why this tool can be turned into a beast. So guys, this is the Fremont Knives Farson Survival Tool update. And actually, after I've made the first video, I wanted to be super quick, and I did not really know and spend time thinking about how this should be done. But before I show you everything, this is the proper way that you should use. Do you see? This is, first I have split it that way, halfway through, and then I have split it with that tool just until, excuse me, just until here, that it stops, so that it has some place to rest on. And then I've added two things, those hose clamps, which are basically turning that knife into a handle knife, which is way more secure and easy to use for most chores on the terrain. And the problem I did have was to have something secure enough so that my blade does not fly away, and also so that it's easy to tighten, set up, and is really secure. And now I can tell you, I've added and yeah, the other thing is that with that system I can have that protruding. So this means I can almost cut through pieces way bigger than before. Chopping that, for example, let's try it out. And it's, I mean, way easier. Okay, it was a bit not far enough, but see, thing is, it works really well. And for jobs like using it as an axe, can basically hit harder than before, and yeah, using that way or battening it. So you get the idea. It's also super easy to resharpen that way because you have a lot of control. Now if you want to go into smaller detailed work using the knife that way, allows you to have a huge amount of control over what you do. The second hose clamp is here mostly to avoid it splitting further, and the first one holds it in place. It's just like okay, I can't get it out without using a washer or something like that, but now I have a tool that is really an axe in the pocket. Battening it, splitting wood, doing smaller tasks, and the way I found the best to slide this in was actually to slide a small part of it and then use a piece of wood, a suitable piece of wood, like so, and you know, putting it inside the tool. So, in my opinion, the addition of two hose clamps like so, I took the big ones, small washer. A washer is an excellent thing so that you are sure you can tighten and untighten it when you want. It's a very good tool to have, and yeah, so to show you, the ground is a bit soft in here, and yeah, basically if I had a nice branch I could show you with more ease, but anyway, you can see how this will get the job done while weighing only like 180 grams, so it's really not much at all, and allows you to have a makeshift, a quickly made hatchet on location. So this and a, for example, Victorinox Farmer or Wenger Ranger 55 with just, you know, a small saw to make a quick and easy handle, and something to tighten both hose clamps. And you have a tool here. I've made only a short handle. I could make a longer one. I could drive that further in, but that way it's an excellent small hatchet that will help you do most chores with a lot of ease. Anyway, this knife with two hose clamps, it's a beast to have in your pack or in your side pouch, because you can do a lot very easily for 180 grams with the sheath, and add like 10 grams for two close hose clamps. I mean, yeah, this is a tool that you can really use, perhaps even to scrape easier your brain tan buckskins, or yeah, tons of uses. Basically, this is a very, very great tool to have. Just the only thing that remains after that test is a blade cover that is made either out of Kydex or out of some thicker material, so that you can actually get it out of that sheath with the blade protection on, and yeah, basically just, you know, use this. Once you've put it on in the wood, you still have access to it that way, but have some way to protect it while you put it on your belt or so. And yeah, as before, if you use it that way, if you do small chores, you still have it like almost hand-free access to it. You can put some firewood in the fire. Yeah, it becomes a beast of a tool if you just add two hose clamps, perhaps three, this is up to you. But I've tested first with only one, and using the paracord to avoid it to split, it works really well. So guys, my rating for that tool with 2 hose clamps make it go from a good overall tool to an excellent alternative for a very lightweight hatchet. And yeah, basically this will not replace my Grand Force Brooks axe on longer trips, but when I go for an afternoon and I'm not sure I plan on cutting wood, or I go on a trip and I should be back by night, but you know, as a survival tool, this is great. Just add 2 hose clamps. This is my advice. But I have accomplished a lot with that blade, and I'm really satisfied of it. It was just the only thing missing was the use of the 2 hose clamps. Now, as I've said, I wasn't comfortable whittling with it, had to use it that way, but I was always having my hand very close to that edge. Now I can do some whittling chores very easily, and basically even probably feather sticks that way with a very comfy handle, beefy one. This was just made with a branch of cherry tree I found around, so not the best handle, but anyways, I've done a lot since I've put it in place like so, and even if I have a very small amount of play, mostly because it's digging into the back piece of wood, I know it will not break very soon, and it's a beast of a user. So guys, this is a very excellent tool. For $49 you have a very lighter alternative to an 8-axe, which is a great knife as well. This is way lighter, this is great quality. In my opinion, this will replace on lighter trips the 8-axe, because you have an axe, basically an axe head in the pocket. The 8-axe is great, but it's like more than twice the price, and it's not for everybody then, and it's also way heavier, beefier. It takes a lot more room in the backpack or on the belt. This doesn't take much, and in my biking pouch that I often use, this fits just perfectly. So you have a secure way to bring it with you, have a way to make a hatchet if you need to, but if you don't need to, you have a hatchet that can be deployed fairly quickly, and you have, yeah, a very good backup tool. So guys, Fremont Knives Farson Survival Tool, yeah, I'd say for the price it's an excellent axe head in the pocket.
I'm getting away, another place. Move and remove strings of my life. Sometimes I need to break the rules.
So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that review. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Fremont Knives Farson Survival Tool, 180 grams, high quality stainless steel. Paracord with it, just add 2 hose clamps and you have basically an awesome survival tool that will probably get you out of most survival situations. So guys, thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers.